They say the internet never forgets. But what if the internet is remembering things it was never supposed to? What if, buried deep inside our everyday apps and inboxes, there are traces of something we can't explain? Something we can't escape? This story is about a series of emails that started appearing in 2012, and to this day, nobody knows who was sending them, or if they were even alive at the time. Some call it the ghost mailer. Others say it's just another urban legend. But the people who actually receive these messages, they don't think it's a joke. And after you hear what happened, you won't either. It began in a small town outside of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. A man named Daniel worked at a modest accounting firm. Daniel was in his early 30s, quiet, and the kind of guy who preferred spreadsheets over social gatherings. He wasn't a loner, but he kept his circle small. He had one younger sister, Megan, who lived in Chicago, and their mom who had passed away in 2009. Daniel had been the one who handled all her financial paperwork, so naturally he was the person everyone in the family trusted when it came to managing online accounts and passwords. When his mom died, he shut everything down, her email, her Facebook, even her old MySpace profile. At least, he thought he did. One rainy Thursday evening in late October, Daniel came home from work, heated up leftover Chinese food, and opened his laptop. He was going through his inbox when he noticed something strange. An unread message was sitting at the very top, sent exactly 1 hour earlier. The subject line read, "Are you there?" The email address didn't look familiar, but it had his mother's full name in it, her first and last. His stomach dropped. She had never used Gmail, she'd stuck with AOL until the day she died. He knew this wasn't her real account. But the sender's name was hers. At first, Daniel thought it was just spam. He hovered over the address, expecting to see some random string of letters and numbers. But it wasn't. The address was eerily simple. Just his mother's name, followed by @gmail.com. He couldn't explain why, but something about the neatness of it unsettled him. He clicked the message. It was completely blank. No words, no attachments, not even a signature. Just a white page with the sender line, "Mom." Daniel sat back in his chair. He tried to rationalize it. Maybe someone had created the account recently. Maybe it was some scammer. But why use his mother's name? Why send him a message with no content? He closed his laptop and tried to brush it off, but he couldn't sleep that night. Every time he closed his eyes, he imagined his mother's voice asking that question, "Are you there?" The next day, he told Megan about it. She laughed nervously and said it must be some creepy coincidence. But she also admitted that it made her feel sick. They agreed it was just some internet troll. But that weekend, Megan called him at 2 in the morning, her voice shaking. She had gotten the same email. This time, the subject line was different. It said, "I miss you." And again, the sender's name was their mom. The body of the message was blank, except for one thing, a single attachment. It was a photo. When Megan opened it, she nearly dropped her phone. The picture was of her and Daniel, taken at their mom's house on Christmas Eve, 2007. It was the last Christmas they'd ever spent together. Megan swore she had never uploaded that photo anywhere. It wasn't on Facebook, Instagram didn't even exist back then, and their mom had never owned a digital camera. The only copy had been printed and tucked into a family photo album, sitting in a box in Daniel's basement. Daniel went downstairs the next morning and dug through the dusty cardboard boxes. He found the album. And sure enough, the photo was still there, taped neatly to the page. How could a digital version exist? And how had it ended up in their email? The siblings were rattled, but Daniel, ever the practical one, decided to investigate. He tried to log into the mysterious Gmail account. He clicked Forgot Password and entered the email address. To his surprise, the recovery number displayed was local to their area code, but it wasn't his. and it wasn't Megan's. When he tried to call it, the line was disconnected. For a while, nothing happened. Weeks went by. Then the emails returned. Every few days, sometimes at 3 in the morning, sometimes in the middle of the workday. Always from the same account. Sometimes they were blank. Sometimes they contained short phrases, like, "You forgot something," or "Look behind you," or simply, "Soon." One night in December, Daniel was up late, finishing tax forms for a client. His inbox pinged. A new message appeared, "You left the light on." He frowned, confused. He clicked it open. No body text, just that subject line. He looked around his apartment. The only light on was his desk lamp. He reached over to turn it off. Just as the bulb went dark, his phone buzzed. Another email. This one read, "Better." That was the first time Daniel felt genuine fear. Whoever this was, they weren't just recycling old memories. They were watching him, right now. He called the police the next day, but the officer on duty dismissed it as a prank. "Block the address," they said. "If it keeps happening, change your email." Daniel did block it. But the emails didn't stop. They just started coming from slightly different variations, his mother's name with dots, numbers, underscores. Each one carefully adjusted to slip past his filters. By January, Megan was having nightmares. She reported receiving emails with attachments of her own apartment, photos taken from outside her window at night. Daniel drove 6 hours to Chicago to stay with her, but when he got there, she was pale and exhausted. She showed him the latest message. The subject line said, "Cold in there?" Attached was a photo of Megan's living room, taken the night before. The curtains were drawn. Whoever took it had been inside. Daniel changed his sister's locks that same day. He installed cameras. But the footage never caught anyone entering. Still, the emails continued. And then, the tone shifted. Instead of vague threats, they became personal. One read, "I see you don't pray anymore." Another, "You never visit the grave." And one that chilled Daniel to his core, "Remember the yellow sweater?" The yellow sweater was something only his mother would know about. When Daniel was 6 years old, he had refused to wear it on the first day of school. He had cried until his mother finally let him take it off. It was a silly childhood memory, something that had never been written down, never shared online. He had never told Megan about it. How could anyone else know? The siblings grew desperate. They contacted Google, but the company refused to release information without a warrant. The police brushed them off again, insisting it was the work of a hacker. But Daniel knew better. Hackers don't send you photos from your own basement. They don't send you childhood secrets. In March, things escalated. Daniel returned home from work to find his apartment door ajar. He stepped inside carefully, heart pounding. Nothing looked stolen. But when he opened his laptop, his inbox was flooded. Dozens of emails, all unread. He clicked one at random. The subject line, "Why didn't you save me?" Another, "It was your fault." Another, "I'm still here." His hands shook as he opened message after message. And then he froze. Because one of them wasn't just text. It was a video file. He double-clicked it, and the screen went black for a moment before showing grainy footage. It was his mother's funeral. He saw himself and Megan standing by the casket, crying. But the video wasn't filmed from the crowd or by the funeral home staff. It was shot from inside the coffin, angled upward, as though someone, or something, had been watching them from below. Daniel slammed the laptop shut. He vomited into the sink. That night, he packed a bag and drove to Megan's in Chicago. But when he arrived, he found her apartment door open, lights flickering inside. He called her name. No response. He rushed in. The place was a mess, drawers pulled out, furniture overturned. His heart dropped when he saw her laptop still open on the desk, inbox full of unread emails. The most recent one had come in less than 10 minutes earlier. The subject line, "Gone." Megan was never found. Police searched everywhere, but there was no evidence of forced entry. Her phone was missing. Her apartment security camera had been disabled. To this day, her case remains unsolved. Daniel was questioned multiple times, but no charges were ever filed. He tried to move on, but the emails never stopped. They followed him no matter where he went. New city, new job, new laptop, still, the messages found him. Sometimes they were just one word. Sometimes long paragraphs. The most disturbing one came in 2017. It read, "People think you're alive." He hasn't spoken publicly since. Some say Daniel vanished just like his sister. Others believe he finally took his own life. But every once in a while, Reddit threads light up with screenshots. Emails that strangers claim to have received. Always the same style. Always from addresses with his mother's name. Short, cryptic lines like, "Do you remember me?" or "I'll write again soon." Some dismiss it as a hoax. A creepypasta that escaped into the wild. But the original email records are real, and the photos were never explained. To this day, no one knows who or what was sending them. And if you're listening to this right now, and you hear your inbox ding, maybe don't open it. Because some say the ghost mailer doesn't just choose families. It chooses anyone who knows the story. And once it starts, it doesn't stop.